love with this Bengal offense.
I think they win.
Maybe because they won, Burrow won me the Super Bowl for our league and stuff. But man, I mean, he's real. All of a sudden, Jamar Chase is back.
I think the Bengals win it.
Do you?
Even if Derrick Henry plays, I mean, I know he's faced a little contact this week. It's not the same.
Right.
He's not playing at game speed yet. And you know what? I mean, and if you have an ankle issue when you are that big and strong and I don't know. I just don't know if he's going to get up and running.
Really?
I think that they're good. I just think that I think A.J. Brown have a good game too. I just think that the Chase Boyd, T. Higgins combination is really good.
Right, especially when you have Burrow thrown to you and Tannehill's thrown on the other side.
And then if Henry's not 100%, Mixon's the best back in the game.
Right.
Joe Mixon is really good.
We know.
The weakness on the Bengals is the O-line, but it didn't look that bad last week against the Raiders. It wasn't great, but it wasn't awful.
Right.
Tennessee's defense, not great. It's good, but it's not great. This is a team that had a huge lead on the Texans and let them get back in it.
Right.
Against the great Davis Mills. I mean, they're I know everybody loves this Titan team. I don't know. I think that without everything clicking at the same time, I don't think they're as good. And then we have Saturday night, the Frozen Tundra.
Of all games, this is probably the one that I'm least looking forward to.
Well, the thing about it that's cool is that it's going to be snowy and 20 degrees.
That's the cool part.
I mean, Kurt Warner came out, last week and said all playoff games should be in domes. No.
The elements.
Fun stuff. I want to watch Aaron Rodgers and Jimmy Garoppolo sling it around in the snow.
Right.
In the cold. San Francisco with their little white uniforms, not able to keep any heat in. and Green Bay wearing the dark green, sitting there with heaters, and somehow theirs work a little bit better than the visitor side. That's why you earn the one seed.
Right. So you can have the other team freeze their ass off.
Exactly. I think that San Francisco is a good team. Again, we don't know how healthy Bosa is going to be. We don't know how healthy Warner is going to be. I would have to imagine Green Bay wins this game by at least a touchdown.
Right. I agree. I think this game is I'm going to go 13 points.
Yeah. I mean, if you gave me a score to predict, I would say 31-13, 31-17, somewhere in that range. I think they kind of win going away. I think it's close for about, I don't know, maybe a half.
Right.
And then the last one is probably the closest matchup of the weekend on paper, which is Buffalo at Kansas City.
Which is going to be a phenomenal game to watch.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Mahomes against Allen. Everybody's, both teams look pretty. It was very funny watching the Chiefs last week against the Steelers. They were sleepwalking in the first quarter, had every opportunity. Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden, Darrell Williams fumbles the ball. TJ Watt picks it up, scores 7-0. And all of a sudden, Kansas City's like, all right, let's play.
Okay.
And before you know it, it's 21-7. And it's, it was never close again. They scored so quick. And you're like, you shouldn't have to turn it on. You should be able to play the whole game with that little mentality.
Yeah, apparently the Steelers think they have a chance to win. We have to stop it.
Both Pennsylvania teams didn't belong in the playoffs.
No.
And it showed.
100%.
I mean, listen, you're going to tell me that it wouldn't have been a better game if the Chargers were playing the Chiefs or the Ravens? It would have been. And you're going to tell me it wouldn't have been a better game with, you can pick a bunch of teams. But even the Vikings would have made that a more competitive game against the Bucs.
Yeah.
And they weren't even close to making the playoffs.
Nope.
Certainly not Washington, but it's, I don't know. I just find it weird. New Orleans would have made it a better game. They've beaten the Bucs every year the last couple of years. They've beaten Brady. Would have been it would have been nice, but the 7th seed, because they played in a weak division against the Giants and Washington, and because Pittsburgh got that tie with Detroit, that gave them a little bit of an edge up on everybody.
We were all laughing at that, and it turned out
it gave them the playoff spot, right? And they almost lost it. Oh, we would have had a better day of football had the Raiders knelt on it,
right?
Because that would have been Raiders Chiefs, and it would have been Chargers Bills, and it would have been Patriots and the Bengals.
Okay,
and you'd have to imagine all 3 games would have been better. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think you're right. I think you're right, 1,000%.
I do think I'm right, and I'm never right, but I think I'm right about this one.
One of the most amazing things, because we touched on it before we got on the air here, was sports betting became legal in New York.
Absolutely, it did.
$151 million was what was made this week. $151 million in just 2-3 days.
So I didn't sign on the last week of the regular season, right? I didn't sign on to bet. I made my first bet the night of the college football championship, which Georgia won.
Right.
And
well, the first. What are you talking about? You're only able to start betting this past weekend.
No, you were able to bet the weekend before.
Yeah, no, I forgot. I'm stupid.
So so I bet on Georgia to beat Alabama, and I hit it, and only because I was like, how could Georgia be 3-point favorite over Alabama? I'm like, they must know something. I always think there's a conspiracy. So I'm like, I'm betting Georgia, and they won, and they were down, and I bet that they would score at least one touchdown because they give you like these little props when you first start out. If one team scores a touchdown, you get to double your money. Okay, great. I mean, how are they not going to score a touchdown? All of a sudden, like late third quarter, nobody has scored a touchdown yet. I'm like, what? What's going on? In the fourth quarter, there was a barrage, right? There was a barrage in the fourth quarter. So all of a sudden, I bet on that game and I won. And I won the touchdown thing too. Mm-hmm. And I don't think there's been a day since I haven't made a bet. Now, I'm not betting big money because I don't have big money. I'm paying for a Sweet 16 this year. As you know, I have a trip to California now. I don't know where. I got a bunch of things going on and that I need to save for. And I'm like, my goodness. I can't believe I'm betting this much, but I am. And you know what? I'm watching college basketball a lot, and I have a couple bucks on the games I feel like watching.
You know what, though? Here's the thing, though. I think you should, double your bets because you do need the money. What happens if you hit? You'll be set.
You know what's funny? I've hit a couple of 14 parlays, but my money was so low I didn't make enough. I've been pretty good with the college basketball. I hit a 14 parlay the other night, but I only bet $7 on it, so I won 93. I mean, but it's if I would have bet $100, I would have won a lot of money.
Is tomorrow payday or was payday last week?
Payday was last week. I don't get paid again until the 31st.
Okay. You do the 31st, take the whole check and just.
You know what it is? I mean, the mortgage isn't that important. I think it's about one
how
game. One game. Put it all on one. Let's double it
How
up.
many people have gone 2 years without paying any of their bills? Many people. You just do it for a month, see what happens.
Oh, God. I have a heart attack with, and I'm laying no money down, and I'm having a heart attack half the time. But I'm so into it now. I wake up. What are the spreads for tonight's games? I'm sitting there dude. I can bet on La Liga. I can bet on Spanish soccer. That sounds interesting. Why not? I mean, I haven't done it yet, but I know I'm going to.
Dude, you got to bet on the pillow fights because it's like a national pillow fight.
Dude, what's going to be awful is when it's only baseball season, right? And I'm going to be sitting there betting on a Tuesday night between the Texas Rangers and and the Detroit Tigers because my pitcher on fantasy is starting tonight and I really need to have a good game. That's when that's when I know I'll hit rock bottom.
Yeah, and you will hit it.
Oh yeah, I mean, listen, I've been up every night. I think I've cashed, but it's that not every ticket. Trust me, but but I bet multiple tickets a night. But I'm up. I mean, but that's the house never loses. Eventually, I'll give it all back.
Dude, it's unbelievable at all these promotions that they're doing. Ones like today. You bet at least $10 on a game, on a parlay game. And if you lose, they'll give you the $10 back or whatever it is.
Caesars, I think it was. Not that I should promote anybody. It was sign up and you get $300 in free bets to start. Just sign up. You get $300 in free bets.
Nice.
So all you do is sign up. You put $10 in and you have $310.
I would lose it right away. But you have to spend it all within a certain amount of time.
But you have a week, though. It's not like you have to do it all over. So you can bet it all. No, I'm just saying, though, but you can bet a $50 parlay, 2 teams over the weekend. And if you hit, you're going to be in really good shape.
But if you're a degenerate like you, where you wake up, some people wake up and smoke a cigarette. You wake up to look at the spreads.
I don't even really drink. Gambling's my vice.
You wake up to look at the spreads. That's the only way you're going to spend the money.
Gambling's my vice. Leave me alone. Shut up. Nobody likes you.
An ampersand collector.
My wife loves the ampersand. There's not much I can do. You people can't see us, all the 3, 4, 5 year, whatever it is. I think the downloads are increasing, actually. We're getting followed on Instagram a little bit more. Fantasy Fat Guys _ is our Instagram name.
And fantastic. Your daughter is killing it.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
think we
we're
have to
posting a lot of funny pictures. So, I mean, we're trying to put the fun back into this crap because everybody's made sports way too serious.
right.
I mean, everybody could sit there and read stats and say, well, this guy in this matchup on a 4:00 on a Saturday usually scores 3 points. Bull crap. It's all a load of crap. What we're here to do is tell you what you're thinking. And if you're not thinking what we're thinking, then you're not thinking at all. The Cowboys blew that game.
Yeah,
They blew it.
1,000%. I couldn't be happier, though. I got to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, you're a Giant fan, of course. I hate the Cowboys too, just because of their fans. Normally, I wouldn't care.
Just
I hate Cowboy fans.
I cannot root for any team that's in the East, and I don't even mind Washington so much. It's just that the owner is such a douche.
I mean, it's like me. I don't hate Buffalo as much as I hated Miami my whole life because they were the dominant team when I was a kid.
Yep.
And now the last 20 years, it's been the Patriots.
Right.
Buffalo had their stretch. I didn't like them, but whatever. It didn't bother me so much. It's Buffalo. The city's crap. Nobody cares.
Right.
Who's going up to Buffalo besides my friend Eric? Nobody's going up there.
Whoever wants
and
to
Fish, if you ever listen to this, I know you love Buffalo. It's 1 degree. Him and Bruce, Bruce, were going to drive up on Saturday and go to the game, and then they realized it was like 1 degree out, and they passed. But, I mean, it was like they were going to drive up for the game Saturday night.
The only people who are really going to Buffalo are really people who don't have a passport, but they want to go over the falls.
Yeah, or they really wanted to get to Toronto, but didn't have enough money.
Right. Or you just can't get in because of COVID restrictions.
Yeah, they pretty much stopped you. So now you're stuck in Buffalo. And you're eating a roast beef sandwich or a beef on weck, as they call it. But to me, it's just a roast beef sandwich.
Really?
Anyway.
Ooh, roast beast. No good.
You're the one that called the roast beast. So 130 years ago, the first basketball game ever played was done,
You know, we're hitting rock bottom with things to talk about when we're talking about
No, just a simple fact, just because I thought it would be interesting. They played the first game, and they put it in peach baskets, right? Mm-hmm. But they didn't put a hole in the bottom of the peach baskets. Every time somebody scored, they had to go on a ladder, take the ball back out. That's the part that makes it our show. Dude, we know that.
I know this is going to offend people. That's Polish basketball.
So, and got it from Orlando, gave me the information on that.
Wow. So did everybody who was playing, did they have a ski at the end of the name?
I couldn't tell you. What I can tell you is they did not put a hole in the bottom of the peach basket. So they had to go up on ladders and take the ball out every time somebody scored.
There's a hole in the bottom of the seat. And there's a hole in the bottom of the seat. That's a Family Guy.
Yeah, so I haven't watched it in a long time. I used to watch it a lot more regularly. But the innuendos are getting so tough, I felt uncomfortable watching in front of the kids.
I know. That's weird. I mean, I find it weird. Like when I'm watching Ted with the boys. I mean, they're 23 and 16, but the 16 or Ted 2 even more when they're in the sperm bank and they knock the sperm shelf and it goes all over Mark Wahlberg. And yeah, that made me a little uncomfortable seeing him take a shower of men's fish with my son next to me. A little weird.
It's a little awkward.
Little awkward. I got to tell you, I don't know if I'm excited by this or I'm getting upset by it. The New York Giants. I'm a Giant fan, so down to 3 candidates for the general manager. And all of them young executives. You got Adam Peters from the 49ers. He was in this week. He was in actually today. Ryan Poles from the Chiefs and Joe Schoen was in from the Bills earlier in the week. They both had their second interview. So my guess is in the next day or so, they're going to pick one of these 2 guys. And it's amazing. I mean, look at the hybrids that these teams are teams that are set, teams that have good have had good success the last several years. And these guys have been with the organizations. This is hopefully a precursor to what's to come for the Giants because we've hit rock bottom.
Well, and the thing is, it's been a proud franchise for such a long time. And listen, let's be honest. The 70s were like rock bottom the first time around.
Right. They had to bring in.
One of us were really watching a lot of them in the 70s.
They brought in George Young, out of nowhere.
Drafted Lawrence Taylor, and the rest is rock and roll history. Yeah. Hired Bill Parcells, even though Ray Perkins was doing okay already.
Right.
But when they brought in Parcells, he took him because Perkins went to Alabama.
Right.
And they went to Taylor revolutionized the game, and then they brought in the other pieces around them. Sims finally got healthy after getting hurt every year his first 3 or 4 years in the league.
And by the way,
Scott Brunner